Our next stop on our trip through vehicle maintenance is tires. It's where the rubber meets the road. The first thing I'd like to talk about is tire inflation. So a lot of people who are new at driving, didn't know any better, just came from driving bicycles. Where do you find out how much air to put in a bicycle tire? Well, the answer to that is on the side of the tire. Are you aware that if you do that on a car, you'll be completely wrong? The maximum pressure rating on this tire is 44 pounds. That means you cannot go over 44 pounds of pressure in order to seat the bead on this tire. So how do I know how much air to put in my tires? Well, there's a couple places to look. One is on our ShopKey program, since we have access to such things. We're just going to go to a 2000 Ford Taurus for reference because that's the vehicle we seem to be using out in the shop. Across the top, tire information. It gives us some warnings there. Tells you the lifting points, which you'll learn about a little later. Tire fit. It tells us the size of the tire that belongs on the car. It also tells you the front and rear inflation of the tires and the torque specs for your wheel lugs. All that information is right here on ShopKey at that one quick easy tab. Then you say, hey, wait a second, I don't have access to ShopKey, I'm just a normal person. I don't work in a garage. I'm not going to school at a technical center. How do I find out how much tire inflation really does go in my tires? Well, if you look in the owner's manual of the vehicle, that's one good place to look. Or, quicker, easier way is, come to the car, somewhere around where the driver's door is, you'll find a sticker. In this case, it's right here. See if I can zoom in on it. It's not really easy to see on the camera, but it actually says right here, pressure 30 pounds cold, pressure 30 pounds cold. We go over to the sidewall of the tire, take a little look at it, so you can find our information. Maximum load, 44 pounds maximum pressure. So the car itself says 30, the tire says 44. Never go by what's on the tire. The next thing I want to show you is how to check the depth of your tires. This thing right here is a depth gauge for treads. It's graduated in 30 seconds of an inch. The lighting in here doesn't do me any justice. If you ask me later in life, I can show you. There we go. Light's kind of reflecting off of it. These are in 30 seconds of an inch. Anything lower than 2 30-seconds of an inch fails Pennsylvania State inspection. However, that's pretty low. I'll show you an example of that here in a minute. So to use this, we're going to put this flat part here against the flat parts of the tire, and we're going to push this little plunger down to where this blade goes down into the grooves of the tire and bottoms out. And what you have then is that part. This is how deep the tire is. And it gives you a measurement on top here. Like I said, 30 seconds inch or millimeters. We do the 30 seconds of an inch. In this case, we have what looks to be 17 30 seconds. Nope, 18 30 seconds. Barely shows. I would have to say it says 18 30 seconds to tread on this tire. But wait, Mr. Paint, I don't have one of those fancy gauges. How do I tell if my tires are legal? Well, I'll explain that. So I'm going to show you a little trick on how to check your tread depth using a penny. It's an old trick from like way back to way back. They say if you take your Abe Lincoln and you put them upside down in the treads, mark your place, whatever is showing on his head, as long as you can see part of his head the tire is good. If you mark it with your thumb and none of his head is showing, that means your tire needs replaced. Looks to me a lot like this tire is no good. Because you can still see his head. So if we get our tool out, and we check it, we only have 2/32 of an inch left. Also, if you're checking your tires, they have these things called wear bars. If 2 wear bars, or even with 2 consecutive treads, that also means the tire is bad. So another thing you look at when you're looking at tires is also you gotta look for cords to be showing. Tires are made up of different bands of cords and layers of rubber and steel wire. These are very sharp, so be careful not to touch them if you're checking your tires out. Also, you're looking at tire wear. Obviously, this tire is worn badly on the inside. The tires can wear a bunch of different ways, all of which means that you should probably have your vehicle checked for the alignment and for wear items on the vehicle. Another example of a very badly worn tire, an example of tread cupping. If your tires are worn unevenly, most of the time it's because you need an alignment done to your vehicle. Potholes, various driving conditions, lack of rotation, all those things contribute to uneven tire wear. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check the tire pressure. Gauges can be inexpensive. You can pick one up for $1 or $2 at Walmart. Usually have a scale on the bottom. Pounds, kPa. We're Americans, we use pounds, PSI. And the way it works is, take the cap off of your tire, off your valve stem, and using this hole right here, you're going to push in on the valve stem. That little guy inside there pushes down the little trigger inside the valve stem. You're going to hold it firmly. You might go once, but that's it. Push in as hard as you can. And then it gives you a reading. This tire got about 28 pounds in it, so I'm going to have to add just a little bit of air. Now if you're at home and you don't have access to air, most of your local gas stations have an air pump with a golden gauge. Sheetz is famous for that. Some places it's free, some places they charge you. Sometimes you can buy a little portable air pump that you can plug into the cigarette lighter of the car or the power port. So what I'm going to do, same way as I check the tire pressure, I'm actually going to just use this little tool right here. That little thing pushes in, it opens a valve in here, lets air out. There's a little valve on there, push in, it actually puts air in. So this has more pounds of pressure than this, so therefore the air is going to flow out that way. Same thing, you might hear a little psst, but it's going to be a firm push. I'm only going to give it a couple second count because I know it's only down 2 pounds. Repeat my measuring process. Take a look at my scale. Now I got 30 pounds sticking out. And then you got a glare, you probably can't read it. If I got too much air in it, the back side of that little dot that's sticking out of there, that's meant to push in and let pressure out of the tire, and then you just keep rechecking it, let more air out until you get where you want to be. Also, you're checking your vehicle for maintenance. Everybody always forgets about that guy in there, that spare tire. Make sure you're checking air pressure in it too, because the worst thing you can do is break down along the road and have a flat spare. So, if you're not too tired, go out to your vehicle, check the placard on the side of the car, take your air tools, pressure gauge, check your air inflation. If you can, and you have the ability to do it right now, maybe add air where you need to. Maybe they're overinflated, maybe they're underinflated. Just a quick tip, most modern vehicles have a tire pressure monitor sensor built into the car for each tire, and a warning indicator will come on the dashboard to tell you that you need air in your tires. Typically what happens this time of year when it's cold outside, tires will drop 2 pounds per 10 degrees of weather. So it's not atypical for your tire pressure warning to come on when you have a sudden drop in temperature. Good to know, right?